This happened 2 days ago, and I'm still a bit shook up about the whole situation and not sure what caused it. So for context, I, 22F, have a brother, 24M. For the sake of this post, I will call him Mike. Mike and I have never really gotten along growing up, and he had gone to prison for 5 years when I was 17 and just got out last year. It was probably the longest me and him ever went without arguing about something. On Sunday, my brother came over to my grandmother's house. I had been living here with my husband and children to help take care of my grandma since she's dealing with Alzheimer's, and I was in the kitchen making a pizza since I had just woken up. My husband woke up about an hour or so before I did and had already gone upstairs into the kitchen and spoke with my father and mother, information I didn't know until after everything had happened. While I was in the kitchen cutting the pizza, my brother called me from the living room. I told my son, 4 years old, to go see what he wanted and to get me if it was important. My son went into the living room to ask my brother what he needed and came to tell me that he just needed to talk to me. I went into the living room and was met immediately with yelling and screaming. I had only been awake for 20 minutes by this point, so I was super confused and I asked him what he was talking about because I had no knowledge about any previous conversations that had taken place in the house. He was yelling about my husband not helping my father out with yard work. My husband had injured his shoulder at work a couple days prior. I asked Mike what he was talking about because I didn't know anything, and he just got into my face and started screaming that I needed to get out of the house because all I was doing was taking advantage of our family. I left the living room and went into the family room where my 3 children, 4, 1, and 2 months, were, and told my oldest to go downstairs into the basement. When I turned to get my 1-year-old daughter, my brother had followed me into the family room and was only inches away from my face and was screaming. I was put into a PTSD attack because of how he was acting. I had been diagnosed with PTSD 3 years prior due to an abusive relationship I was in. I pushed him to get him away from me so I could get my daughter and 2-month-old son to take them away from the screaming. As soon as I turned to start walking towards my baby, who had started crying due to the noise, he grabbed the back of my neck and started punching me until I fell down to my knees. I ran to get my husband and told him what was happening. My husband was outside on the phone with his father because we were supposed to go over to his house to pick up something we left over there. My brother followed me outside and started screaming again, and things kept escalating. He threatened to kill my husband, and when I heard that, I ran inside and grabbed my phone, which was on the table next to the playpen I had my baby laying in. I immediately called the police and took my other children downstairs. In the basement, we have a TV and a PS5, so my husband put on a Spider-Man game for my 4 years old to play while I talked to the police. After the police talked to everyone and got statements, my brother was attested since he left a giant bruise on my neck where he had hit me. My dad thinks I should drop the charges because my brother was out of prison in God behavior and could be sent back for the rest of his sentence, which would be a 6-year term. I told my husband that I will not drop the charges against him since it wasn't the first time he's ever hit me, and I refuse to let him keep doing it. My entire family is really torn about the whole situation, and my uncle, who was there when it happened, bailed my brother out of jail. I'm still messed up about it since it all happened so quickly, and I didn't even know why my brother was upset in the first place. My dad has been acting really cold to me since I won't drop the charges, and I'm starting to feel like I may be going a bit too far by pressing charges. I don't know what to do. My dad has talked to me about me moving out of my grandmother's house since it happened, and I don't know what to do. Should I go ahead with pressing charges? Update: thank all of you for the advice. I talked with my husband about everything, and he agreed that we should get a protection order as well. To answer a few questions I saw in the comments, my grandmother owns her house, but her will is set up as a trust, so once she passes, the house will be sold and the money split evenly between her 3 kids, my dad, uncle, and aunt. I told my parents I was concerned about the condition of my grandmother because my uncle's health had been declining, and he can no longer cook for her, which is why we moved in to help in the first place. Since I moved in, I had been the primary cook in the house, making sure my grandmother has healthy meals. We were planning on buying a house next summer, but since everything has happened, we have moved up our move-out date and will be buying a house before Christmas this year. Me and my husband will be paying for a nurse to come check on my grandmother because I am still concerned about her health and worried that when I'm not there, no one else will put in the effort to care for her properly. I really appreciate all the advice given and definitely will continue to press charges against my brother. Thank you all for the comments. Top 3 comments. 1. Yes, you need to press charges. You should look into getting a restraining order to keep your brother away from you. You are being reasonable. Your father, while understandably concerned for his son, is enabling his bad behavior. 2. Your brother is now a felon and prison-hardened convict. You must believe his actions, not his words. He assaulted you, again, threatened to kill your husband and put your children in danger. As a married woman, you must put your husband and children above all, and that includes your father. 3. This is classic victim blaming. He attacked you and it's your fault? Seriously? Your brother made his choices. It's unfortunate that your family are being fucking stupid. Yep, stupid.